Awaken! Ready for some spiritual manna? Hello and welcome to the Good Info Cafe, where multiple intelligences meet each day. We have music and fun for everyone. Information and literacy, big serious concepts, and hope. Welcome to the Good Info Cafe, where multiple intelligences meet each day. I'm JK, as it is in heaven on earth, as it is in heaven. My last low D note was awesome, vocal fry. So here's the menu for today at the Good Info Cafe. Let's see what I get to and say. Scratch that nose. Like it, boom, boom, rockin' the cash bar. So the Gilligan's Isle, Gibson Isle tour. Talk about that. And McDuff last night. That was very funny. And then I'm getting ready. So, and then the Gilligan's Isle, the Mueller's Gibson Isle theme song, and the Art of War. A lot of times I like to do, and now for something completely different. So maybe I'll start with that. And because the whistle tone, I haven't practiced that. I can do it about 3% of what the big guys can do, but it's a really high, and you can, if you listen closely, with good ears, you can hear. Every once in a while, there's a squeak, and they've learned how to control that and turn it into music, where that's not music. The Art of War. This represents, in my 20s, I bought the Bhagavad Gita. I already had the Bible, grew up with the Bible. Even though in the Catholic Church, and once again I have to get this looked at, didn't have the Bible in Mass very much. And I asked a lot of biblical questions, and just only one priest really appreciated it. And he was like, wow, yeah. And that was about the only positive feedback I got. I told you I had a Jesuit uncle. Jesuits in my family until my generation, for many generations back. And whenever I saw him, I wanted to discuss philosophy and God and the universe, and he didn't really want to do that. It was really just a job for him. Incredible story about he was not Vatican Jesuit, that type of thing. He was just really smart guy. And he spent 40 years at Canisius College in Buffalo teaching business. And some other fun things I'll tell about someday. In a positive, funny way, okay? It's nothing sinister. So I was looking at, my 20s was more where I looked at other religions. In my teens was philosophy and that kind of thing. But then early 20s, Plato, all that stuff. And I bought the Art of War, not this copy, but I had a different one. I got the I Ching. I got the Quran and Einstein's theory of relativity and general theory of relativity. I got his actual theory of relativity. I think I printed that one up, and then I got the book that had both of them in it, I think. And I wish I could find that. I can't find that one, and I can't find my letter of recommendation from Henry Kissinger, which I'm just saying as artifacts of my upbringing and where I grew up, and the Beltway was my backyard. I didn't grow up just inside the Beltway. I didn't grow up inside the Beltway. I grew up right inside the Beltway. It was like instead of a river, there was the trucks and everything going by. But I got used to it and went out there, went past the fence, and me and my friends did fun stuff, but never hurt anybody, nothing destructive in that way. I had a friend who blew up mailboxes with M80s, but I didn't do that. I was more into the mental torture, mental games. So I want to read a little bit from here, and the things that stood out. So I went right to the energy page, the energy section of The Art of War. It's a really thin book because The Art of War, you have indirect attacks and indirect attacks and direct attacks. And anyway, so the heading is energy from The Art of War. Sun Tzu said, "Fighting with a large army under your command is no wise different, not any different from fighting with a small one. It is merely a question of instituting signs and signals." Oh, my Lord, you said to buy a sword. So we are soldiers of God, but we can do that through indirect and diplomacy, but we have to be ready to defend the innocent. All right. Then another one, number 6, indirect tactics efficiently applied are inexhaustible as heaven and earth, unending as the flow of rivers and streams, like the sun and moon. They end, but to begin anew. Like the 4 seasons, they pass away to return once more. Have a tactic, like a winter type tactic, and then next year it comes back, but is the winter exactly the same? No, it's cold or colder wherever you are, depending on the context. But is each season exactly the same? No. And then number 7, there are not more than 5 musical notes. Now we have 12 in Western music system, but 7 in a major scale or a minor scale, so pretty close. But at that time it was probably the pentatonic scale. There are not more than 5 musical notes, yet the combinations of these 5 give rise to more melodies than can ever be heard. Really cool stuff from, I have to look at the year that this was written, so I'm not going to try to take a stab at it, but it was a long time ago. Number 9, there are not more than 5 cardinal tastes: sour, acrid, salt, sweet, bitter. Yet combinations of them yield more flavors than can ever be tasted. So you get the concept. And that's music, writing songs. Some people who might be new to it think, oh, there's so many songs, how could I write a new one? It's unending. You just have the confidence and the skills. You can write lyrics though, and parody lyrics. In battle, there are not more than 2 methods of attack. What do you think they are? In battle, there's only 2 methods. Direct and indirect. Meaning not just physical battle, the information war through speaking, the word, the logos. Who's the Word? In the beginning was the Word, said John, the book of John, or wherever it's from. So that's the art of war. It's all been said. John Lennon said nothing new or something like that. He says it in a song, yeah. Nothing new that can be done, etc. But saying that history may not repeat itself, but it rhymes. And that's the same thing, the concept of the seasons. They come around, the winter comes again, but it's not exactly the same. And I wore this because of the Gilligan's Island thing. It's a little bit spotty, but Gilligan spilled things on himself too. So I'm Gilligan. Absolutely. I could see that one coming. George was definitely the skipper, and John, so professorial, is reading the books and the lawyer background. So the actual teacher is not going to be the professor. No problem. John is perfect for that. So I'll get to that. So here we go. Mueller's Gibson Isle boat tour. We'll see if it becomes a reality. And Brent is going to help get it going. He offered that. And Sean also said that she would help because she lives in this area. And wow, what a brain and a writer. And Brent's awesome too, with the harmony of God's creation and the harmony of life and all life. And once again, that's the highest priority, is the survival of life not the survival of a rock. I mean, that's existence. We could say survival of existence, but I'll go with survival of life is number one. And so, of course, the skipper is George, and I have a plus, and I'll explain that. Gilligan right here. Absolutely. Gilligan, right? I'm getting ready. Gilligan. And see, he had a shirt that was white with red, so I'm going to get a red shirt that has this kind of white up here. And I got the, I don't think it'll show, but I got that kind of pants, and I got the shoes, my deck shoes. So I'm ready for Gilligan. I know he doesn't have a birthmark in the shape of Old City Jerusalem, the most contested piece of real estate in human history, but I mean, maybe he did. Maybe he did. We don't know. All right. So then, of course, the professor is John, and I'll explain what the pluses are. Ginger, who identifies with Ginger, who identifies with Marianne. If this eventually becomes a reality, doing a boat tour of Gibson Island and wherever. And then Thurston Howell III, who identifies with Thurston Howell III. Lovey Howell. And then the minnow, of course, is the Scrunchie. I don't think it has an S on the end, but because the minnow, the Scrunchie. But it could be the Scrunchies. We'll see. And it turns out Lovey Howell was a millionaire, a multimillionaire in real life. And Marianne Wells helped take care of Lovey Howell because she was a lot older than people thought. She had put her birth date as 1912 so she could make sure to get work. But it was revealed when she passed away she was 1900, and she died at age 90. So keep that in mind, how much older she was. Anyway, so that made her in her 60s, and yeah, when she was doing the show. No biggie. That's what I am. I'm 60. So here's what I wanted to say. The plus is, whatever you identify, go for it. If you're like a skipper, like I think Brent might be kind of skipper-like, the skipper. So he's that. So, you know, we just had to divide ourselves. It just kind of came naturally. But everyone can be one of these or none of them. And if you're getting anxiety, if you're really going to want to do the boat tour and it becomes real, and you're thinking about who am I, if it gets to the anxious, then drop it. Don't worry about it. This is all fun. Fun, music, fun with John, music, and George, very big appreciator. And the appreciators of music are just as important as the musicians. Always know that. So if don't feel left out. We love your appreciation. And there's some who are appreciators and musicians. John and I, we both appreciate music and we're musicians. But anyway, so I am cash poor and I feel spiritually rich. So I will bring that. I can't help pay for this, but I will pay for it by bringing music, fun, individual information literacy, the big concepts, of course, we'll talk about, and hope. And I'll bring all that, and I'll work extra hard on the music, and and John and I will coordinate that. And John, yes, I'm Gilligan. That was really funny last night when I was on there. Corky had said something about cuckoo, cuckoo, so I changed it to cuckoo, ka-ching. Use an eye on the walrus. I am not chivalrous is now the working title. The parody song. I am not chivalrous. And that was funny when then he asked, and he was, would I be Gilligan? Of course, I anticipated. Brent and I had talked about that, and so not a problem. I don't have a problem with the whole show being named after my character. It's just character. I did characters. I did musical theater. So I was the Pharaoh in Joseph's Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat. I was a muleteer in Man of La Mancha, and that really disturbing scene of the rape scene of Man of La Mancha is just really hard to do. And what else? I was a high priest in Jesus Christ Superstar and a Roman soldier. He is dangerous. But remember, John McDuff is really in the basement. He can go lower. He's a bass. I'm a baritone and a baritenor. I can do some of that high stuff. But anyway, so what I have here, so I don't even know if I wrapped that up, but let's try to make it happen. Oh yeah, I was going to say, whoever is interested, really let George and John know, and then Brent. Brent is ultimately, I think, going to end up being. Right now, he's a coordinator, but whoever ends up doing that, I think it would be a lot of fun this summer. And once again, it would be music fun, the big serious concepts. And the reason why I have information literacy is because that's a system that's separate from everybody, and it is a way to really discuss controversial subjects. Because I want us to be people who want to fight back against leadership corruption, government corruption, but the corporations. So not just the government, but corporations, any kind of corruptions by the powers that be, or corruption anywhere, from the left and the right and the center and all over. I'm a little bit right of center. Sometimes I end up left of center, so I'm in the center, right of center. I think McDuff John is the center, maybe a little bit to the left, and George is on the left. But it's being informed, and it's the information literacy. So just like my song says, from left to right, all types of people. We don't care. Please, all races, all even sexual orientations, whatever. So keep that in mind. We need everybody. All right, so just sit right. I'll probably have some music going. I mean, some. Just sit right back. Just sit right back, and you'll hear a tale. Just sit right back, and you hear a tale that's yet been taught, that started from so long ago aboard the small Sylph yacht. So it's kind of from the perspective of the bad guys, and it's Mueller's Gibson Isle. Here on Mueller's Gibson Isle. So it's based on what George said about in the research. So I'll update these lyrics, but this is just what I came up with like a month ago, right around St. Patrick's Day when I was with George. So I need to be with George to really finalize these things because he has the background information. So for me to get good, accurate, authentic words to these, they're not really finalized until I'm with George. Other than breaking up with the Russia hoax is hard to do. That one is almost complete. That's 90% there, if not 100% there. So that's awesome. But I did text with George a little bit. So this is really a perspective of the Mueller group and the Rockefellers and DuPonts. Sit right back. Just sit right back and you hear oh yeah, and I will do this as a meme at some point, but it's not done. Because George encouraged me to do the meme. I did that with breaking up with the Russia hoax is hard to do because it was pretty complete. And this one's not complete. That's why I'm not doing it as a separate meme just yet. And I had an idea on the Gibson Isle boat tour that I want to do my show from there. So with a live audience would be really cool. So I plan to do a show from there, and maybe George and John will do theirs from there also on the 3-hour tour. I just hope we don't get lost on the Scrunchie. And another thing is I do know through my sister somebody whose family still lives there in Gibson Isle. And so I have to just understand, I'm for the truth, for God, for the restitution of all things, for the world being in harmony. I just met with Paul Zerkowski yesterday, and it was all about, if I had it, I would show it, the notes from it. I might even run and get it, what he wanted. And he's getting up. Paul Zerkowski, say prayers for him. He's definitely gotten a lot thinner and struggling with the back and forth with the doctors. So I was able to visit him in Beltsville, Maryland, where George did his video last summer in July, and it was awesome to see him. And he passed on the mantle to me. He gave me his blessing to keep going with the information literacy, action literacy, and information optics. He even signed saying, yes, go JK. And I want to try to get an online site where people can go and pay $9.99 or something, and get certified level 1 in information literacy and then eventually level 2 and advanced level, and certified in action literacy. Action literacy is taking information literacy to good, reliable information, and then acting ethically. That's an important part of that. And then information optics will be on there. It's a huge project, but Paul Zerkowski gave me the go-ahead yesterday, and I'll keep him posted. I won't bother him with all the little things. And my book, he wrote a new introduction or a message to the information literacy community. So we're editing that and get that in the book, and then I'll get the book published, renewed, and send it out there. So where was I? Just sit right back and you'll hear a tale. Yet I gotta go slow enough. Just sit right back and you hear a tale that's yet been taught, that started from so long ago aboard the small Sylph yacht. The son was a haughty sailing man, the father bold and sure. 5 accomplices set sail that day for a 3-3 power lore. No, for a 3-3-3 power lore, a 6-6-6 fishing lore. The Scrunchies started getting wind, so the Scrunchies started getting wind, so the small Sylph yacht was tossed. If not for the scourge by the outlaw crew, the millions would be lost. The billions would be lost. The gang set ground on the shore of this uncharted Gibson Isle with Rockefellers, the DuPonts too, those millionaires and their wives. Cabell, Baker, Garrett, Page, Symingtons, here on Mueller's Gibson Isle. Can you see Gilligan? This is a Gilligan without hair. Okay, so I think that's about it for today. I'm going to make sure. Oh, yeah, I have my question of the day. I'll get my Gilligan thing going here without hair. And he's older. Gilligan's older, so he's got a beard, of course. A little bit of a, I won't say. Question of the day. Are you interested in Gibson Isle boat tour? Eventually get word to Brent, and you can do that through comments. And we'll figure out something where it can be a single place where people can sign up and all that kind of stuff. For music, fun, information literacy, big concepts, and hope. Because it gets so depressing when George talks about it. That's how I see myself with the Gilligan, is a little bit lighter and bringing the humor side and mocking the deep state and the corruption and all the bad guys. And another thing I bring is I'm always looking for who's a good guy, who's a bad guy, but I can handle the gray area too. Do we lean towards good guy? Do we lean towards bad guy? I'm always going to be asking John and George that, and they know that. Because they're like, well, I don't know, why do we have to know that? But I want to know. And then there's a third category, like Mike Flynn, although it's leaning towards the bad side. I don't know. And I'm not going to take a stand. I just want to collect that and then try to figure it out. So, question of the day is, are you interested in the Gibson Isle boat tour for this summer? Get word to Brent somehow, and you can do it through George and John and figure that out. Because I'm moving now, and the next 2 weeks are going to be crazy. I still put up a video. I still plan to. And then if I finish this, I'll put another meme song up where it's just the song, the chunk of the song. But live, I'm not going to try to be slick. I've seen some other parody videos. I saw the one that Karen O mentioned yesterday in John's live chat, and a guy named Don Karen, and just know that he's the left perspective, the progressive perspective. And someone was talking about, get this on the conservative radio shows or conservative shows. There's no way. His song about when collusion died, he's saying to the controlled media, this didn't work, this doesn't work. There's other ways to get Trump. And he talks about all 139 indictments. And once again, you can indict a ham sandwich and show me who you don't like, and I'll find a crime. That's what that is all about. It's a Russia hoax. It's collusion, delusion, in my opinion. And now I'm going to grade McDuff's new channel. McDuff, Kennedy's man to Break up the CIA, smash the CIA. So of course Macduff is up here in the A's. It's just awesome what he's doing. He reads the books, and with that mellifluous voice, we'll say melodious voice, mellifluous voice, and just be careful, John. If it's late at night, I'll fall asleep. Not that the information's not interesting, it's just if it's later at night, it's more like a bedtime story. So actually it works. So absolutely A, towards the A+. And George for helping him and for getting 1,000 subscribers. Mine is much different because I do all this. It's going to be what it is. You guys know what it is. I got my format going. But then I'll do separate videos of just the music memes and parody song memes. So that's a great balance. And George is awesome for encouraging me, and Brent. And I think that's it so far. I think that's it. Show. I think that's it. Goodbye. And my temple trumpet. I want to talk about circular breathing. So I use my nose to breathe. Wait a second. See, as I breathe in through my nose, but I'm pushing with my lips. So physically, mechanically. So this tone would keep going. Of course, I'm about 3% of what Kenny G and all those guys could do. Are we in the end of an age? Are we in the end? Do you like my beard? The way it's like this, it doesn't naturally. See, under here it doesn't have very much hair in it naturally. I tried to cover it up, just like try to cover up my birthmark. Now I'm letting it go authentic and natural, and it does naturally go like that. My beard does. It has that natural. It just does that. And are we in the end? I'm not trying to scare you. Maybe a little bit. Are we in the end? I almost just fell over. Are we? I got so caught up in it. Are we in the end of an age?